Rawr.
angry about taxes.
When did we all get this dumb? Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. I don't see any bodies, so it doesn't count.
I'm angry about taxes.
I'm the chef. I want to hear one thing. Yes, chef. Come on, man. Use your brain. The Why I'm Angry podcast starts now. I'm angry about taxes. Man, it's the Why I'm Angry podcast. This is the chef. I've got a few people in the out of the studios with me today. Freestyle Man Cave studio reporting from our lovely basements. I got Peyton. I got that Jay Boots guy, and our handicap kid, Honest Abe. So
Only physically, not mentally.
well, I mean, just depends on getting on the show and all. We were just talking about that with Peyton here. Oh yeah, it's been a kind of busy week, but not not too crazy. We had debates yesterday. We had we've had some things go on, but really this first article I just felt compelled with this article. This one might be one of my favorite articles, or at least the headline is one of my favorite headlines for a while. It is. Philly looter, known as Meatball, cries in mugshot after live streaming herself during the looting. Let that one soak in, guys. Let's all feel that one a little bit. Let's let that one feel the burn, feel the love. Like, what the heck are you thinking? Like, I videotaped myself looting and robbing people. Like, so yes, this girl Deja Blackwell cried after she was charged with burglary, conspiracy, criminal trespassing, riot, criminal mischief, criminal use of communication facility, receipt of stolen property, and disorderly conduct. I ran out of fingers. Yeah, they threw the book at Meatball.
Meatball.
Yeah.
I think I found my screen name.
Right? It's Meatball.
I don't feel like we
man.
could take it seriously with a name like Meatball. You know, like that's not what you expect. You know.
I mean,
Now, is that her God-given name?
no, her name is. Yeah. Yes, that's it. Her name is Deja, but Meatball definitely.
I don't know
seems...
what's worse though, choosing the name Meatball or being given the name Meatball.
Oh yeah, you gotta see this. Meatball's mugshot is amazing.
I'll bet there's a story there. I want to hear it.
Yeah, we're definitely getting this on screen.
So how did you get the name Meatball?
Right. I have questions.
Yeah.
Any history into that on how she got the name Meatball?
No, it's just what she calls herself on her pages, I guess. She got on. She's like yelling, "Yay! We're outside. We're terrorizing the city." Blah blah blah. And then the police lights show up, and then her camera feed goes dark, and then you see her on the page. Her mugshot is her like tears streaming down, like her hair's like all smoked, and yeah.
I mean, at least you recorded it, right?
And it's kind of gonna be hard. Yeah, it's kind of gonna be hard to say that you weren't part of that group when you just videotaped yourself doing it and then being arrested at the same time. You can't say like, "Oh, I was in a group of people that were running around 3 nights ago," and not like, Yeah.
I wasn't looting. I was just outside protesting.
It was it happened to be the same officer arrested me that night. Yeah. So I guess a flash mob style ransacking Tuesday night targeted dozens of stores, including a Foot Locker, a Lululemon, and an Apple. All fairly liberal locations.
Not
Yeah, I
upset
would
about
definitely.
that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it came after a peaceful protest over a judge's decision to dismiss murder and other charges against the Philadelphia police officer who shot and killed a driver, Eddie Irizarry, through a rolled up window.
Hmm.
So yeah, there are mugshots for 12 of them. 2 of them actually smiled during the mugshots. Yeah. There you go. There's
Look
your
at
mugshot.
that.
Whoops.
Wow.
Yep, there you go.
I'm assuming
Nice.
meatball is the bottom left, or
No, Meatball is not in this group.
That
oh,
looks like the graduating class of Harvard 2023.
Yeah, I'll get you to Meatballs.
and this,
So,
my friends, are what
so
bad
this,
decisions look like.
this, yeah. So this is if you're not watching the podcast, I'm sorry. I apologize for you not watching it. So this is Meatballs. This is
Oh,
Meatballs photo while she's
get that
out and about doing the looting.
face.
This, my friends, is Meatballs photo. Oh, no, there's the video. And
She looks
there
like a
you
meatball.
are.
The
Oh,
There's
yeah.
mugshot.
Meatball, loud and
Meatball.
proud, getting her photo taken. Not so happy about the ramifications.
It's a lot
Learning
fun to steal it.
early on in her life that cause has an effect. Maybe not early enough.
I mean, it's about what you expect out of somebody with the nickname Meatball, I guess. I don't know. Expectations are not too high. We were just talking about this earlier.
I mean, it's like Meatball, Jelly Roll. You know, those guys. They all have
Jay
kind of a
J Boots.
Andre 3000.
Hey, you just named some greats, okay? Let's not put her in the
We're,
same category.
we're calling out everyone now. So yeah, Meatball arrested for protesting. On a kind of a secondary note, they were protesting an officer. I mean, it's kind of been one of those things that somehow we've allowed people to realize or to think that it's okay to loot, steal, just decide you want to create chaos when a court case doesn't go your way. Like it used to be like we won the World Series, let's destroy our town. And now it's like now we get up and go for court cases. I mean, I feel like the judicial system must be working if that's the case. Like people are very civically minded nowadays. They get out, they riot and loot based on court cases, as opposed to winning the World Series or the Super Bowl. You know, I don't know that they've ever done it for the Stanley Cup, but you know,
That's a real shame.
definitely. I mean, it depends on what city. I think if Chicago wins, they're looting and rioting for the Stanley Cup. But
They loot
know.
and riot every other weekend. What are you talking about? Chicago.
But it was something I saw an article out of, or I don't even know where it was out of, but I did see an article that was saying that there's something that since the George Floyd decisions and the Ferguson riots, that we've, you know, that I don't want to say the Democrat funeral, but the Democrats have said that, you know, they haven't really condemned it and said, hey, we're not, you know, this isn't what we're for. They've kind of done the opposite, and they've they've kind of ran like the vice president has said, Kamala Harris has said, we should, she's rallied the troops for getting money so that they can get out of jail, get bail money for them and stuff like that. And it's like they're not exercising like their civic rights to a protest. They're going beyond a quiet protest. And so it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, it's nice to finally hear like somebody's actually getting like caught up in this and getting actually arrested and stuff.
Here's the problem I have. They burn their own neighborhoods. They destroy their own stores. They everything, all the destruction is done in their own home. They don't go to the rich areas or anything to do that stuff. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Well, and then they cry about, oh, it's so terrible in my neighborhood. Well, don't stop. Stop burning the things. Stop tearing your crap apart. Like, stop making your uncle close his business for good because you lit it on fire and because he can't get insurance for it.
Everybody wants to complain about capitalism, and then you put the local neighborhoods in situations where they can't they can't recover after a situation like that because you're destroying local businesses and so forth. But the large corporations can come back from it. It's sad. It's sad that we incorporate that kind of destruction with a protest now.
Right.
Protest is no longer picketing and putting up signs and so forth in a strike line or a picket line. It's now become, hey, let's burn down, local neighborhoods and businesses and so forth that have been there for 50 years or whatever. It's pretty sad.
Right. I'm not sure that if we said anything about it, or if I just saw it during the week one of the weeks. But I know the kid that defended himself that ended up having to shoot 3 people in Ferguson. That like was literally, huh?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, I know he's actually running for, I think, a Senate seat in Wisconsin.
Is he really?
Like an actual, yeah, I think he's actually running for like a state Senate seat, not
Good
like
for
a
him.
Senate, like a U.S. Senate seat, but a state. So yeah, I mean, heck, he has the name recognition, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us would like pay millions for that kind of name recognition. And he has, like, everybody in the world in the U.S. has heard of him in some way or form or fashion. He just has to start the story.
He could hit a target pretty good.
Oh man, he can put it down. He can lay some lead down, even after being hit in the head with a blunt object. I mean, he can take a beating and give it back out.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how all that works out. I don't know if he's gotten the right recognition to put himself in a situation like that.
Yeah,
I feel like there's still quite a few opposing parties that are probably going to have an issue with that.
I think it was
a very interesting court case and so forth, and it brought out a lot of unsuspecting views from people. I thought just some opinions that you wouldn't expect to see or hear. It was very interesting. It's like he was assaulted and protecting himself and so forth, and yeah, people had a problem with that.
Right.
Anywho, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all works out.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those deals where it's like, you just you wonder if you get, if he could actually bottle his name recognition and actually make it work for him, then you know, then good for him. You know, they do say in marketing that no news about
No
yourself
publicity is bad
is the
publicity.
yeah, and no publicity is bad publicity. The only publicity that's bad is when you're not getting any.
Right.
So
Donald Trump kind of proved that one.
that is true. I mean, but they did announce this week. The Democrats announced that they don't think he's electable.
Hmm.
I mean, he's like what 60% up or 70% up on the closest Democrat.
See, I
But
think they want him in. I think they honestly believe he's the only one that Biden can win against. That's just my thought.
and I don't know. Like, I have a mixed thought on it. Because honestly, I think he's the only Republican dirty enough to win. You know, to do what it takes to actually win. And as sad as that is, you know, is that worth voting for? Because he's the only one that would actually do what it takes to win. I think he's also the only one that has the anger and rage built up to like destroy the Democratic Party, maybe even the democratic process, but the Democrat Party. Because I think he's now to the point where he's just like, anyone who said anything against me, I'm writing it in my book, and I'm going to go down the list, and you're all going out with the trash when I get into the White House again.
So,
So I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
so do you think he's disciplined enough? I mean, because now he's got to be disciplined. He hasn't shown it yet, and I think he's got a bad team kind of directing him. But
Yeah, I think he's got a terrible setup right now.
yeah, I just this election's too important. I don't know. I'm still on the
I,
fence.
it's sad because I thought the first time around, like, listen, this guy is a little unrefined. He's a little rough around the edges, but that's not a terrible thing, right? Um, and I was like, you know what? He's smart enough. He's going to put good people around him to help him kind of refine the rough edges. And then it never really happened, so to speak. So now we're in a position where it's like, all right, is he going to learn from the first time, or are we going to have round two of it? You know?
Right. Yeah. And a lot of the things that he's like come out with over the last honestly 3 months, like you said, Peyton, uh, I like he now he's going against pro life groups as that they're just taking the money, which honestly, if they are, then that's something to go, something to do. But it's at the same point, can you afford to alienate that group from your voter base? Can it's just some of the stuff, and his unabashed like hold on to, I'm the greatest, I got those vaccines done, type thing, and they should apologize to me for the vaccines, for not taking my vaccine. It was the greatest, I'm the best, it was huge, type thing.
Yeah, he needs to
And
give up now.
yeah, it's like, listen, man, you're starting to like push people off the side here. I mean, even Elon Musk just said today that he wasn't going to, he would not fire people over even a mandate of COVID vaccine. He was just gonna, he couldn't see himself doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think companies can afford to go down that road again. You know,
No, I
honestly.
don't either. I don't think even big companies can afford it. I mean, I think that weakened a lot of companies more than people really realize.
I honestly didn't think we would go as far, or they would go as far as they did. I was shocked. If they'd go that far, then
Yeah,
what's stopping them the next time?
right. That's true. But so yeah, I mean, we kind of stepped away from the whole racism thing, but so that we can step back to it, so that Peyton can feel a little bit better about it. Did you see the Canadian Prime Minister and their parliament? They got it stood up, and I guess the Prime Minister wasn't there, but the Parliament stood up and clapped for the Nazi war criminal.
I did see that. The prime minister ended up requesting the House Speaker to step down, and I think
Yep.
today he did. So, but so they had all these truckers come into town, and they were calling them Nazis. They were
Right.
calling them everything. They were racist. They were Nazis. And all these people wanted was
White
to go to
supremacists,
work.
all of it.
Yeah, and all these people wanted to do was to go back to work and make money to put food on their table. And
Right.
then now we've got an actual Nazi in their House of Representatives or whatever that is.
Yep.
Kind of ironic.
And and it's how the republic dies to a roar of applause. I mean that I think that was in a movie or a
Mhm.
couple.
Star Wars.
But yeah, and then I saw a couple articles afterwards that the Russians and the Swiss are telling them they need to send that guy, they need to extradite him so that he can be tried on his in the war tribunal. I
So
mean, he
he was
has
in,
to be like
At
one
the
of the
age of like 98.
yeah, he has to be like one of the final people that they would be able to try. I mean, I think the last one was like what 5 or 6 years ago.
there was
They
one in
pulled that.
Cleveland about 20 years ago. I
Yeah, they
remember.
pulled I think that I saw a couple years ago. They pulled a guy out of he was like walking just down the streets of Italy or something like that, and pulled him out of a cafe and arrested him, and like 91 years old or something like that. Like,
But
if this guy's
I
running,
was,
like he may have taken the elixir that the Nazis had, if he's still running at 91.
but
They
I
may have
still
had
think
something.
I still think it's an odd. It's a really like odd and vulnerable spot that you go in and you try someone for war criminals or war crimes from what 80 years ago or 70
And
plus years ago. It's like how do you decide what he's responsible for? At 98 years
right,
old,
true,
how do you like the guy was realistically he was probably 18 when he
right.
volunteered or joined or whatever. At
And
what point do
honestly,
you say like, hey, he's responsible for this and that and everything else from 70 plus years ago? You know,
beyond him being a general or something like that, or like Arthur Mendel or something like that, like you said, it is tough. It'd be tough for me to think what was he really responsible for. Did he live his life in basically an incarcerated because he couldn't show who he really was, or he couldn't be who he was. Did he live that kind of a lifestyle already anyhow? At 91, what are you really, you're just gonna shame him? I guess
right? And how many
in
like
this
what's he really
society,
gonna
shame
say?
is the worst of the worst, isn't it?
All right, like what's he really gonna say at 17,
Right,
18 years old when
right,
he's following orders, right? And now all of a sudden you're
right,
gonna you're gonna try to try him, in his
right.
90s for, I don't know. Not that I agree with what he did, but at the same time, it's like when you're in a
I mean,
military, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with it, like you're in the military and you're following orders.
right,
You're not making the decisions unless you're higher up on the food chain.
yeah. It would. it would honestly be tough for me if he wasn't somebody to be like, all right, you were a Nazi, because I know a lot, like just watching the psychology of things, and just even with my wife having a psychology degree and stuff like that on a few things, like and even seeing the school districts nowadays, and how it's really sometimes it's less of your decision and more of your preservation to join some of these groups. You if you're not strongly set in your beliefs, you're just going to join them to preserve your life and your pursuit of happiness, whether it keeps your liberty or not, I guess, that kind of thing.
Well, let's be honest. The guy was probably 12 years old, and he was the handler of the dogs. And they were celebrating him. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a silly turn of events they were, that they got the headline that they clapping and celebrating a Nazi war criminal, but it's Canada.
I mean, they did give him a standing ovation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought we were trying to win Canada back on the
Hey.
show.
Oh, that's right.
Dang
it,
we gonna
last-
lose Canada. We last week's episode pretty much cemented that we lost Canada.
Yeah.
Last week's
So now we can
Canadian-
make fun of Toronto Blue Jays.
Yep, yeah. I mean, they're not even Canadian; they're Japanese. So that's
I
the
blame
only
that
weird-
on Jay though. Last week, that was Jay's fault.
The Toronto Blue Jays are being blamed on Jay.
No, the losing Toronto last week or Canadian.
The
last
Canadians,
week.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that
we've
was
been
Jay's fault
banned,
for sure.
and the next time I go to Toronto or something, I'm pretty much getting searched and held for the rest of my life. So instead, I'm just going to drive across the border and see how it works. I'm gonna try to bust into Mexico, see how. No,
That's
no one
probably
says
the better
I'm
decision.
gonna break into Canada.
Getting into Mexico is easier than getting into Canada.
I don't know. They got the fences now and stuff.
Yeah, the boys.
That they're
The
taking
boys.
down.
That they've taken down, put back, taken down, put back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to stay on the whole, Congress and all of that, former. Oh no, wrong one. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy rejects Senate bipartisan. The former one is a good one, but not this time. Rejects Senate bipartisan short-term funding proposal plans to, and he plans to bring Republican, whatever those guys are, led stoppage bill to the House floor Friday. The government shutdown begins on Sunday if no deal is reached. Shut the government down. That's right.
They're already planning that, right?
I mean, it looks
Most
like,
people are saying it's imminent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if they're gonna bring out a bill on Saturday or Friday, if nothing's reached, then we're shutting her down.
Heck yeah.
Just in time for October 4th.
Yep. And the only ones that are squealing are the government workers. Oh, the humanity. They didn't have a problem shutting the whole economy down for 3 months?
I thought it
They
was
didn't
only
mind
supposed
that
to
at
be.
all.
I thought it was only 2 weeks.
Well, it was 15 days to end the spread. But,
Right.
Yeah, there was no
It ended up
concern
being
for
2
us.
months.
No concern whatsoever for us. But now that we're wanting to pay some bills and we want to cut some fat, oh, you can't shut the government down. No, we won't get a check.
We can't live
Well,
without.
that's been their concern the whole time is getting paid. They don't care about anybody else getting paid.
What'd you spend your
That's
stimmy
Concern.
on?
My stimmy.
I didn't even get one. That's the sad part. I didn't even get one.
I played the
I
stock
used to know
market,
people doing them.
and then I bought tickets to a Columbus Crew game.
What did I? Mine's still sitting in the savings account. I'm still trying to decide on what to spend it on. I think I'm going to spend
What
it
to
on.
spend?
I'm going to spend it on. I don't know, a flag.
I'm gonna buy me one of them racist flags.
Put it
$6
towards something
flag on Amazon.
real worthwhile.
Real nice.
Ammo or something.
So Sunday at 12:01, I will be celebrating the closing of the. And if you guys remember when it closed, when Obama was in office, he took the liberty of closing the national parks. He wanted to make it as painful as possible for the unwashed masses. So
That's right.
probably what will happen again.
Right. Yeah, we should. We just
I wouldn't be
shut it all down,
surprised.
save us some money. We save it, shut it all down, raise our taxes, make some money.
Yeah.
Just don't
We
open
own
it
it.
back
I
up.
mean, we ought to start auctioning all that land off.
Right? I'd go to that auction.
The parks.
I'm gonna buy half of Yellowstone.
I want that geyser.
just for the movie rights.
What'd you buy in the auction? I bought a geyser.
I bought a geyser. All right, well, yeah. Well, if you guys are on Facebook or YouTube, we're gonna see you guys later. Get over to Twitch. It is the Why I'm Angry podcast on Twitch, and we're just trying to funnel you guys over there, get us some raised advertising dollars. If you do not get on our podcast at whymangry.com or get on our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. So if you are a lucky Twitch